Welcome to Sovereign State, the podcast where we share our unfiltered opinions as a family on current events and trending topics.
Welcome everyone. Thank you for tuning in to our podcast. You guys are listening to Sovereign State. We are a family of four who try to discuss our conversations on a podcast. And we're excited to hear you guys listening to us. This is episode number 3, and I am Queen.
Saquonga Bar.
Stormy.
DJ Jam.
Really, DJ?
DJ Jam.
Really,
DJ Jam.
Ooh.
Wow. Anyway,
DJ
today we're
Jam.
talking about the reopening of the schools. And we want to know, we're going to share our opinions and want to know what everyone thinks. Go around the table and see what's up. So, because of the COVID-19 case or whatever case is going up,
The pandemic.
well, the pandemic, everyone knows, right?
Or the pandemic.
Oh, that is what's up.
Yeah, drop a bomb for that.
I like that one. I did not know you had that, baby.
Yeah, we gotta drop a bomb for that next time.
That's what's up. That's what's up. Anyway, so
Sorry.
what is so funny? What is your problem? All right. So the question is, are schools going to reopen this fall? Man.
Well, at least right here in Chesterfield.
Really?
Never mind.
The question is, are schools going to reopen this
Right.
fall? And how do we feel about whatever's going on?
Well, CCPS posted a tweet.
Why would you say that?
Oh, we're not supposed to say where we're from.
No,
That's why I
I'll
just did it
cut-
again.
I'll cut
That's
it
why I
out.
just did it again. So the question is, will our schools be reopening this fall 2020 virtually
In Virginia.
or hybrid or what? And what's going on with that? How do we feel about that?
So it looks like in most places they're gonna be doing virtual. I know here where we're at
In Virginia.
in Virginia.
This it was supposed to be that it's supposed to be hybrid, but I think the counties are taking it upon themselves to decide what they want to do.
What does hybrid
It's-
mean?
Hybrid is like virtual and in school.
That was one of the options that they have that the school board voted on. The school board for the county. They
Not
voted on.
Chesterfield.
Yeah.
Yes,
That
they
was-
voted on 3 options. It was 2 different, I guess, hybrid schedules, and then there was one that was just virtual, and it ended up being just virtual school for the fall.
Right, when there was options, and then when they voted for just
Virtual.
virtual.
And according to the email that I received from the district, it's because they don't have the capabilities of because of the 6 feet and all of that, keeping people apart. They don't have the capabilities right now because
In
there's too many
schools.
students. Right, there's too many students per room. Like, how are you going to separate each student 6 feet? That's one of the reasons why they decided to go virtual.
Right. That's justifiable, I guess.
But I had heard before that you could do a group of, let's say, half the school 2 days, and then skip one day, I guess, to clean, and then the other 2 days you could do the other half the school. If you do it that way, it will work. While the one half is in the school, the other half is doing virtual. Why can't you do it that way?
That was one of the options. There was the option for it to be Monday, Tuesday, half the school basically
Right.
comes to school. Wednesday is a cleaning day. Then Thursday, Friday is the other half of the school. And then there was another option. I think it was just a different schedule, but the same, like different days, but the same kind of concept of half to school and half to school. So that was one of the options. Well, those were 2 of the options. And then they just still decided to do virtual. But in my opinion, I feel like the parents and kids or students should get to decide if they want to take the risk of going to school, like,
I agree.
or doing sports, or you know what I mean?
Right.
Well, there was a petition, right? At least for this county, there was a petition where 86% of the parents wanted in school,
Mhm.
and they
But
still voted
against
against it
in school
because it's up to the
because
board.
yeah, they just could not. They cannot accommodate
But they didn't
the
You
need
mean a
to
poll,
students.
Well,
though.
not a
that's what they
That was the
said.
petition?
point.
You mean a poll?
Yeah, no, it
No,
was
a
like a
petition.
petition. Like
How can it be 82% if it's a petition?
86% of the parents in the petition voted for in school. The rest was just what 16%.
The
But
teachers
voted
as well.
but
virtual.
everybody in a petition wants that to happen if you sign it.
Well, then maybe I'm using the wrong word. Then
Okay.
It was just a vote.
survey,
It was just a vote. Yes, it was
a
just a vote,
survey.
and the staff as well. The staff wanted the in school as well. But do you want to send your kids or your children to school not knowing if the school is cleaning or I mean,
That
you
is
want to
what
send them if it's clean, right? The school.
that is the vote that we should be having. Like, if it goes back to normal, whatever we were doing before the pandemic, if you want to send your kid to school and knowing that that's what you're sending your kid to, that should be your choice as a parent, as a student. I don't
True.
care. I want to go back to school.
Right.
And if you don't, do virtual. First of all, if there's parents or students that have such a big problem with, risking that, taking that risk, then they don't need to. They can just do virtual.
Right.
But there are so many more people that are upset about virtual school for the fall.
There's so many things that they couldn't accommodate the children for as well. It was not only the cleaning, it was also how can you keep children or the students with the masks on all day?
Yeah, especially young children.
The young ones
Yeah,
is
how
the
are you
one.
gonna
Like, how can you
keep
enforce
track of
that?
them and everything? Yeah.
Exactly. The teachers got to teach. They can't, be babysitters on top of that. And
But you run into that same problem when it's virtual too. So if I have 6 kids, most of them are little kids. Now, I mean, you're just passing off that problem to the parents,
yeah,
right?
but
So,
virtual is going to be everyone in their home.
yeah, but if they're little kids,
It's still
then you still have to keep them. You still have
Oh,
to
right.
keep them engaged somehow.
Right.
Now the question is, are they just gonna give out work and then have you do it and turn it in, or are they gonna actually be live in a classroom teaching and everybody's gonna tune in? That we have yet to find out if that's what's gonna happen.
Right. There's no decision that was made yet, or at least told to the public about like how that's going to play out. But what I've heard is that it's going to be like a regular day schedule where it's from like 9. The class is going to start from like 8 or 9 in the morning and go till like 3 or 4. And the teachers are going to be live in their classrooms, and we're all going to be on like some type of Zoom call or some type of like FaceTime call
Good luck
with
with
our
that.
teachers. Now, that makes no sense. Like, it's not going to work out how they want it to.
How do you feel as a student? How do you feel as a student with you being a senior and you being a sophomore? Does it make a difference? I mean, how do you guys feel?
Jason, go ahead.
What are you talking about?
As far as doing virtual school or in home, virtual school or at school. If you're doing virtual school, which you are,
I know, but like,
how do you feel about that?
Do you want to go back to school or do you want
I'd
to do the
rather not-
virtual?
I'd rather not go back to school because I'd rather not go back to school because then you could like do whatever you want after you're done with all your work.
Really? That's the
how,
only reason.
that's how it is during school too, though, when it's
No.
like in school.
Yeah, but like you can do whatever you want outside. Like me, I'm gonna be practicing basketball at like after like 12 o'clock p.m.
That's the point, though. They're not like,
Yeah.
from what is like being put out there right now, it's not like, for example, if I were to be taking a class right now or a few classes during summer, what they do is they have work already set out for you, and whenever you turn in the work by the time that they give you, like the end of the day, then they'll count it. They're trying to set up virtual school in a way where it's exactly like you're in
Right.
school. So the timing and everything. So they're gonna be like, "Oh, I'm gonna give you this assignment. Turn it in 30 minutes."
If it's like that, then I'd rather go to school.
Exactly. It's the same thing. It's just
Right.
my focus is not gonna be there if it's virtual. It
Right.
just isn't. Like it's not real. It's it's over a screen.
They're saying that the cases are going up. I mean, drastically.
Right. I mean, and
People-
also, I mean, when you hear the cases are going up, more people are being tested, so cases are going to go up. I mean,
Obviously. But the death rate
it's going down.
is still down.
So instead of them treating it as good news, they're ignoring the deaths and focusing more on the cases.
Right.
That's a whole nother conversation. But they're using that to impose other things on us, like now more usage of masks, more like
Right. More control.
Yeah, more control and all.
So my thing is this: they're I could use they're saying that New York City and like Fairfax, Virginia, are like big areas, like big school areas, and they're saying that they're doing the hybrid. And then you have a place like California, who's doing straight virtual all over. Why can't they do one way everywhere? Why does it have to change?
Because
I
it's
don't.
for each state. Each state has their own government. They choose what they want.
Yeah,
Right.
but it's everything it's supposed to be for the benefits of the students. So which way is better? And let's choose that way and stick to that one nationwide. Why do you have to have the West Coast or other states doing straight virtual and then other ones doing hybrid?
That's how it is for every decision though. Like that's how it's always been.
There's
Right,
never
but
been a
but
nationwide decision.
in from what you said, what that tells me is that there's more. I want, for lack of a better, like more politics to it. It's not really
Where in the bigger areas, like I said.
and not only in the bigger areas, in the decision making of the whole process. Period. Because if this was, I don't want to. If this was a pandemic, serious pandemic, I think everybody would agree, like, stay home. Period.
It would be black and white.
Period. Like, this is people are dropping dead left and right. Matter of fact, there probably wouldn't even be no school. It'd be like, yo, people just stay home until this thing is over and done with. You get what I'm saying? So I think this has to do more with politics, and I believe that the pandemic will be over by election day. I'm just saying.
I agree.
Haha.
The president wants to reopen the schools,
Right.
but state officials are going against it. And there's something interesting that was said in Fox News a few days ago. Tucker Carlson, I love that dude. I love that dude. He was saying that Washington
Don't say
State.
that. That's racist.
What? What's
It's
racist?
a joke. It's a joke.
He was putting out that Washington State officials, okay, are putting a lot of limitations on children returning to school. And one of the biggest things, and it blew me away when I heard this, was that the non-white kids will be going to school first. Then the white kids can go.
Was that real though?
Yeah, is that
he was
real?
probably joking.
I don't think that was real.
I remember
That
every
sounds like a joke.
Yeah,
I
that
saw it on
before.
TikTok. Everybody was posting it and was like, "Oh my gosh!" But I have yet to hear anything
Like
other
the source
than
of where that came from?
he is
Anything
always
other than
everything
that.
that comes out his mouth is a joke. If you watch
Not,
his
or like sarcastic.
sarcasm,
Yeah.
it's sarcasm. So why are they taking this one thing and like it's probably something he's probably taking his like
Spin on it,
his
like
putting his spin on what they're trying to say
I
basically.
don't
right.
think that's what
Did
he
you
was
find
talking about.
anything to
I-
justify what he was saying,
I don't
or
think
like
that
prove
was
what he
was
was saying?
being talked. I didn't take it as a joke.
Did you find an article or something?
No, I
saying
didn't
it?
look. Did you?
And why you? How
I
would
didn't
know?
look. I'm
You
just-
brought it
on
up.
Something.
I'm going off of him, and I'm just saying. I don't think he was joking. And then with
Why do you
whatever,
not think he was joking?
I'm getting to that. And then what everybody else was saying, that they were bringing out, they was bringing up the case from 1954 with the Supreme Court, Brown versus Education,
Brown versus
which
the Board of Education.
same thing. When the U.S. state, when basically they were saying, talking about segregation in the public schools and things like that, I guess Brown won. I don't know, but if that was being brought up, then I'm taking it that it was serious what he said.
It
Brown
I
versus Board of Ed is to eliminate segregation. What he was saying
She's saying that
is
because he brought
segregation.
that up is why she thinks that it's serious.
They were just saying that it's unconstitutional, and this case kind of backs it up.
Well, it's definitely that's why I'm saying it. I don't know. I have to see it myself.
same.
I mean, I saw him say it, but I know him. He jokes a lot, so I took it as a joke because there was not. That would be everywhere if an
Yeah.
actual news place said that, like an actual person that was
But
in
he's the
power.
only person that I ever heard say that. So
Yeah,
Well, I guess I'll look into
and
it
he's just
more.
like a talking. He just talks about politics. Like he has a talking section on.
Right.
I guess I'll just look into it more, and we can bring it up if there's an article or something next time. But I just want to say that as a parent, I have concerns, and people need to go back. One of them is people need to go back to work. Okay, so
Correct.
how are you supposed to handle essentially homeschooling? Because we got to go back to work. Now, do what? Do we have to hire people, hire tutors, hire, what's going to happen? Babysitters?
Especially if you have multiple kids.
That's one thing. Another thing is there are a lot of children who depend on school for certain things, like they're running from something at home,
Or
like
eating.
domestic violence or nutrition or whatever.
I saw something on it was some celebrities feed on Instagram. They're trying to like do this petition to get the government to pay for school lunch for everybody, like school lunch free
Right.
for everybody in the country.
Okay.
That's one of the things. And I was like, how are we going to do that if we're not going back to school? Because it was like a big thing that a lot of celebrities are signing and like they're pushing it.
What happens is you
We're
get
not-
the money. The parents get the money. That's what the president was talking
Mhm.
about the other day, about that 105 billion that he's needing.
Right. But I think that's more towards for the school. As far as the school, she's talking about school lunch, which doesn't make sense. If you don't go to school, then there's no food, there's no nothing. Now going back to what you said about the president, so he was saying if the schools close, then why not give the parents an option, like give them the money that's supposed to go to the school and let them choose to go to a private school or any other, homeschool. Let them pick where they want to send their child.
Right. And I love that. I love that
Yeah, that's a
option.
good idea.
There, and everyone is not made. Everybody's not cut out to homeschool.
That is what. 'Cause there are so many people in my school in particular where they needed help. And it was like a lot. It was a huge percentage of the
Right.
people in my school. They had like extra help. And
Yeah, like
I
that's
know I
me.
was one of those people.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I was one of those people that would go to different classes to help them. I'd be done with my work and I'd finish early. So then I'd leave my class and go help other people that needed help in other classrooms. So it's like, what about those kids? What about those kids
So
that need?
basically, me, like in school, I need extra time on things. So the thing is that if it was like online school, then you're not gonna have like extra time. It's gonna be too fast.
Well, that brings up
That could be an issue.
what I've been trying to, what I've been talking to, with Zaquan, and I spoke to a couple of parents, but I would like more parents' opinion. Is starting a homeschool pod, is what they're calling it. It's a group of students that get together in a house, and you have the parent that's home helping them out. So I want to do that. I definitely would love to do that. And I have the background in education anyway, and I'm home now. so I'm able to do it, and I want to do it for you guys. So then that means that I'm able to bring in, 2, 3, 4 more kids. But again, it goes back to what you were saying, Zaquan, that okay, well now you're still at home and you're not practicing the 6 feet social distancing stuff, and so
Exactly.
how it just
Right.
doesn't make sense.
It's just not
It all
adding
goes
up.
back to all that.
And it's not uncommon for kids to be hanging out when I tell you that I go out with my friends all the time and we're not wearing masks. We're not 6 feet away, I promise you. So it's like, what's the point? We already have plans for when the school year does start officially, that we're gonna be essentially like house hopping or whatever. Every day we go to a different person's house for school in the morning. That is not, we're not going to be 6 feet away.
Right.
It doesn't, it's not adding up. It doesn't make sense for us not to go to school.
But if you think about it, is that part of the problem right now? Is that, that sounds like part of the problem is that a lot of people are not practicing the social distancing, putting on their masks and things like that.
How is
Maybe
that?
that's why the cases are up. I don't know. I'm just asking.
Most of us that are in the group, we mostly, all of us have jobs. And though I haven't had to be tested for my job, they have. And none of them
Negative.
are
They're negative.
positive. So it's
Right.
like, I mean,
I think you already had it.
I
What
did
was
too.
that,
When you had
January?
pneumonia in January, yes.
it wasn't January. It was literally September.
Yeah, I thought it was September.
It was actually it was after homecoming. So January, February, March, April,
No, it was
September,
October.
October,
What?
November.
No,
What?
November. It was
It was
November.
I
November.
thought
It was after
January.
I came back from the hospital. I was in the hospital. So when I came back from the hospital, I went back to work. Then as soon as I came back from work, I was gone for a week because I was taking care of her.
Mm-hmm.
So it was November.
Okay.
And
that was right before the school break for
Right.
winter.
And
Winter break.
I believe that was COVID-19 in a way because she had fever one day. Cool.
No,
Okay,
but
one
wait.
day.
The
Yeah.
105.
105, like
Fever.
crazy fever.
That's what.
And we brought it down, and then it was like, okay, one day, then another day, then another. It was like, all right, this doesn't happen. This is not natural.
Yeah,
like what's
I've
going
never
on?
seen that before.
And then she had trouble breathing.
And we had to get that machine.
Yeah, we had to get the machine. We took her to the urgent care twice.
Yes.
So and then it was over in like what, like 2 weeks, 2 or 3 weeks.
What?
It
Or
took.
No,
so?
it took.
It took you.
It didn't take long at all. As soon as they gave me the medicine, I was already ready to go back to school the next week. But they
No,
were
you
like,
wasn't.
"No, yes, I was."
You
And
saying that, but then you still was
I'm-
having the fever.
Right.
They were, yes, I was. I was done having the fever as soon as they gave me the medicine. Because when I went to the doctor, like 3 days after they gave me the medicine at the hospital, I was ready to go back to school. But she was like, "No, make sure you stay home another week because it's pneumonia. That's contagious and yada yada yada." But I didn't have it anymore, so that's what it. So it was over in like a week.
Well, they didn't call it pneumonia right away too. So that also was
Right.
making me think
And
that
but-
you
and
did
she-
have it.
And she had the problem breathing for a while.
It was tough for her.
Right.
I didn't even notice I had trouble breathing until they were
Right.
like, "Can you breathe?" And I was like,
Actually,
no.
I'm glad you brought that up.
Right.
No,
So
I
being
cannot
being
breathe.
that she had it, we all had it then. If that was the
Probably
case, and
immune.
we was good. So
I didn't have it.
no,
didn't
well,
have it.
she had it, so that means it spread in the house. So you had it, but you didn't have no symptoms.
Oh.
Yeah.
I mean,
Like,
I even
didn't
ate
have
from
symptoms.
like
either.
I ate after her and stuff. Like if she would leave something, I would
Yeah.
eat it. So
Yeah,
probably
I
did.
mean too. I was drinking right after her.
I
cups and shit.
didn't act like
Excuse
I
me.
was sick. I didn't
Yeah.
feel
And then
sick
I feel-
unless this fever popped up
Right,
again.
and I feel that there were other people in my job who had it too, because there were other people who had fevers and stuff like that, and they were treated and sent right back to work.
Mhm.
You
So
know I mean?
what are solutions? What are solutions that we can come up with, and can we I guess put them into play, the solutions
Solutions to what?
Solutions to what?
to the reopening of the schools? Like, what should we as parents kind of push for the county to open up the schools, or do the hybrid, which I really would love, or should we let it be?
The-
Like,
The problem with finding a solution to this issue is that I mean, I don't agree that there's a problem in the first place. That's my thing.
yeah,
It's
but
like,
that's, I mean, I get it, but that's
that's my issue because my solution is not to do it. Like I don't see the issue that you're trying to fix by doing virtual school. There is no issue to me. So just
The
don't do it.
cases
That's my the cases we're getting more cases because we're more people are
testing.
getting tested, but
Right.
the death rate, the more people you add to the pool of COVID
The
positive,
death rate
the
gets
death rate
lower.
is getting lower because people
They're
are
not
not
dying,
dying.
right?
Not
They're
the
not
death rate
dying.
And then-
doesn't get the death rate doesn't get lower. The percentage gets lower. Like the percentage, the ratio.
Right. Yeah. So what the ratio is the death rates plus the
Yeah.
cases.
But the
you know,
death
the
rate
death.
doesn't get lower.
I'm looking at 3,761,362 total cases in the United States, and the deaths are 140,157 out
Right.
of three out of
1%.
3.7 million.
Right.
Way less than 1%
Wait, so 3 million only in the United
Well,
States?
the cases, yeah.
of cases. Total
That's
cases.
not a lot. There's
And-
like
and
how
then
many
the- and
people in the
then-
United States? Like 100 million,
And then the
300
number of
million.
deaths is iffy.
300 million.
Correct.
There's is iffy because you have cases, a lot of cases where people are misdiagnosing. Like
Maybe
people,
they died
people,
of pneumonia.
Yeah, they die of a car crash and it's COVID-19
COVID.
or diabetes. It's COVID-19. So even those numbers are kind of skewed.
And
Also-
I think they were doing that.
Also, everyone that has like, there's only been one person that's died of pneumonia, died of COVID-19 under the age of 18. Like,
Well,
in
no, he was
America.
actually 18. Was that the same guy or no?
Or
Yeah,
18, years
18 or
younger.
older, 18 or
Okay.
younger.
Okay. And so one
One.
one child.
And there was something
Mm.
wrong with him. I forgot what
Yeah,
it
that
was.
He had
there
a
was other
pre-
Like
complications as
asthma
well.
or something like that. Yeah.
and I mean, how old
No,
he
he had
was?
diabetes.
Was he like young or like up in the
18,
teens?
18 or
It
so.
was around there.
Yeah, that's what. That's a grown up already. That's an adult. I mean,
Right. Pretty much.
pretty much. But no children has died.
Not really.
So,
Unless,
but then there are parents who are saying, well, but if we do reopen the schools fully, then there will be children that are going to die,
or they'll bring it home or something.
or they'll bring it home and it'll
Or-
be worse.
Or they'll pass it to the teachers.
Right.
So
Just-
the teachers is a concern. Well, the teachers can wear masks.
Look, this is the way I look at it. I think they should go ahead and do the hybrid, and then maybe that's the first semester or this first year, whichever way is best, and then go back to normalcy because
That's how I thought it
think-
was gonna be.
I think this is going to be the norm anyway. And to be honest, I think it should, because we are supposed to be washing our hands. We are supposed to be looking out, being precautious about bacteria and germs and all that stuff. And think
what
about
about-
it. We
what about-
don't.
What about masks?
What about the masks?
You said it
think
should
that
be
should
the,
be
you
the
should-
norm?
Should that be the norm too?
No, because if you're 6 feet apart,
So you think the
So
norm
you
should
think
be
So
it's
the
6
norm
feet
should be
apart?
all the
six
time?
feet apart.
no, I'm just saying at right now with the schools reopening in September, it should be, let's be cautious and this and that and be 6 feet apart in the classrooms, 3 to 6 feet anyway, and do what we have to do. But then the second semester, or even if you want to do the next year or
Mhm.
whatever, go back to normalcy, but being more cautious about the spread of germs
Right.
and things like that.
And like you said with the first semester, implement that stuff and see what happens.
Right.
But
I
when
thought
we're going virtual, you don't even know. You don't know what's gonna
Right.
happen. You have no data.
I thought it was gonna be like the first quarter or first semester you go to school, or like the second semester you go to school, and like the other half is
At-
online.
Could be.
At the end of the day, my point is still that if you think it's such a huge risk and you believe you will die, don't go and choose to go virtual. I don't understand why, if people don't care, then why,
No,
or
because
even if we all decide to go to school, right? And some people don't wear a mask and other people wear a mask. The people that are wearing masks are protected, right?
Supposedly.
no, because
So then what is the big deal about the
That's
people
what
who
I
are not
said.
wearing a mask?
no,
That's not you.
That's their choice.
because if like the people that don't like it, they'll say like, oh, they're spreading their diseases and stuff. Like the people that are going to school.
But
are spreading
I
it.
don't care what they're saying. What I'm saying
That's why it's wrong.
because they're gonna say something about it.
In
Because
their
it's
in their
wrong
eyes.
in their eyes.
because they feel is wrong.
Right.
Yes, but
They
what
And then
I'm
the
feel
saying is
government
I
officials are
don't
the
care
ones
what
that
they
think that.
feel. The point is, the fact is, if you have a mask, you're straight.
You're
You're not
good,
going to
yeah.
get sick. So
Right.
why are you worried about anybody else who's not wearing a mask?
It doesn't make sense, but it's that. That's just how it is.
I'm trying to make sense.
Yeah, that's my point. Like, you have your mask, you good. So why you worried about me?
My point is, virtual is just not. It just doesn't work for so many reasons. We also didn't talk about the nutrition,
Right.
how people go and they go to school to eat.
To eat.
Okay.
Literally.
To eat. Oh, I'm having my breakfast and my lunch.
Mhm.
Um, I was one of those people
I used
when
to
I
go
was
to-
younger. Um, I just wanted to go eat breakfast because I knew I was gonna get a really good breakfast at school.
Right.
Things like that are also role models. A lot of people don't have no role models, no guidance, no nothing at home, and they go to school and they have that. They have um a social life, or they get to interact with other children and things like that. I mean, there's so many reasons why virtual sucks.
Right. Let's talk about the financial burdens on parents as well. Weren't you telling me the other day that now, because they're going virtual, now parents have to hire tutors to actually take care of their kids and make sure that they go to the virtual school
Because they have to go to
because
work.
they have to go to work. So now they incurring another financial burden. Right? Talk about that. You saw that like on Facebook? Like moms are creating groups.
Well, that's what I was talking about
Yeah.
earlier. What
That's
I
another thing.
mentioned,
That why are adults going to work when kids can't go to school?
because bills still need to be paid.
Right.
Yeah, but you're
Not,
going to work.
nothing has stopped.
Yeah. So why if you can go to work, why can't we go to school?
That's a good point.
Right.
It doesn't make sense. It's still spread. It doesn't matter. You're still in a public area.
Well, especially depending on your job, the ratio to parent or staff or employer or whatever
Right.
to well, you going to work, the parent going to work, you're probably dealing with 10 people depending on your
It
job.
doesn't matter. It's still.
But if you go to school,
It's a lot of people.
now you're dealing with,
Each-
3,000 people,
it's
things
still
like
Each
that.
people,
classroom
though.
has about, in our school at least, there's a lot of other, you know, I don't know. In our school, there's like 30 people in a classroom.
Yeah.
So
That's
cut that
pretty
in
much
half,
everywhere.
and that's
But even
15.
even if you cut it in
So
half, you still have all those
teacher
peoples
to-
running around through in the hallway, right?
I mean, yes. Maybe that's the problem. Maybe it's
Yeah.
not so much the classroom.
Right.
Maybe it's the hallways, I guess.
The hallways, the interaction. You still have all those people in that building.
But they can use this money that the president is trying to acquire, okay, for the schools, and they can hire other teachers, or they don't even have to necessarily be teachers. They can be like RAs in a dorm or something like that. And so now you have, I mean, I know it sounds like a lot, but I'm just saying finding solutions, other ways as opposed to doing virtual. You can hire other people to take up some, maybe help out the teachers in a lot of ways.
Or the
Right.
teachers could
If that's
just rotate.
approved. If that's approved.
Well, yeah.
With the
But I'm
money.
just saying that money can go towards that, which is great.
Right.
Right now, teachers are not going to get raises because the money that you use to get them their raises will now be used to hire maybe more janitors or something like that, because now the schools need to be cleaned more. But again, why are these schools being cleaned? No one is there. Only the admin, I guess.
Right.
This is crazy.
What
Yeah,
I was
it's
saying,
out of control.
what
Go
I
ahead.
was saying was that instead of the students rotating, the teachers could just rotate. Like how the students are like they go to their next class, it could just
Oh, that
be the
makes
students stay
sense.
in the classroom and the teachers come in.
Yeah, that
That's
makes
true.
sense.
That's a
Okay.
good point.
Oh man, because that is awesome. I did not think of that, because that way
Right.
it's
That's-
just a teacher as opposed to
Right.
30
And it's
kids
just
moving
one.
around.
It's just one
Taking it back to
class.
like when I was in junior high school, that's how it was.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I never did that.
Yeah, we didn't move. We stayed in the same classroom, and when the math teacher came, she came. Then the science teacher came in.
That's an awesome idea.
Right.
I did not think of that. Good job.
Then
Nani.
they're probably just gonna talk about the buses,
And then
Yeah.
or something
Oh
and then
else.
yeah.
also it half the school going there and that the teachers rotating is like a good thing.
But one of the things that I did see, to go back to what you just said, Storm, is the buses, is that the the principal was asking, or the county in one of the emails was asking, whoever can drop their children off, let's drop them off, make it so that, but again, that interferes with, what time I'm going to work and all of that.
Right.
That's
That but
why my kids are taking the bus, or is it
right.
far, or do I have the transportation?
Yeah, but that's why he said like if you can.
If you can, so that you would take that
Can
burden off of the people that can't.
and if you really if you're really scared of this pandemic and if you believe it's that bad, then you would take it upon yourself to do that anyway.
Right.
Or just
That's
have them
true.
do virtual school.
Right.
Oh yeah, do virtual school and be done with it.
It all goes back to the groups that I was talking about. Because if you're gonna do virtual, then have
I
somebody.
mean,
It was just it's daunting. You know, I was talking to a friend the other day, and she was talking about how she's good in science, and her daughter is taking English right now online. So she can't help her, or she doesn't feel comfortable enough to help her in the English subject.
Right.
So that's another thing, is that parents are parents. They're not teachers, or whatever they knew, they done forgot because they don't practice the subjects. So that's just another thing. You're
Also
putting another burden on the teachers,
one of
on the moms, because they can't help out the children,
one
and
of
that
the
Hmm.
sucks.
one of the biggest issues is that oh yeah, there's like kids that like parents don't really care about them and they can do whatever they want and they're not going to do school
Oh, true,
and
Mm.
they're going to fail that grade
true.
or not like fail school in general. There's going to be a lot of people like it's going to go up their percentage.
Wow, I didn't even think of that too.
Yeah, there's a
yeah,
lot of people like that.
because there was like, for example, my cousin was over here. She had to take for the last school year. She still had to do virtual school. Um, and there were people there that just never went. Like there were people that were
Wow,
enrolled in her class, never went, never logged
never
on to the
even
little
logged on,
virtual
huh?
school thing. There were people that would log on. You can literally like they'll set the phone up and they're literally like laying in their bed sleeping, like
Right.
literally sleeping. A teacher will be talking to them and they're sleeping.
Wow.
And then I
So then
mean,
you have to be on top of that as a parent.
Yeah,
yeah,
but there's
but
a lot of
Yeah,
there's a
but
parents
lot
there's a
of
lot of
that
people
parents
that
that don't
don't.
like that.
Wow.
That don't do that.
yeah,
I get it. There's parents who don't do that, don't
right.
care, so they won't do it. Oh, you do it. You figure it out.
Mhm.
Yeah, that's one of the big problems. That's one of the big problems with the virtual.
My what I was gonna say earlier was about the like people doing virtual and then some people going to school. I realized that that would also cause like a little bit of an issue too, because unless they hire like new teachers or more teachers, it would be a burden on the teachers to be having kids that do virtual school as well as are coming in class. Like, how
Right.
would that work? Would they be filmed while they're teaching the class that's present?
That's a possibility.
Oh
Because
yeah.
I mean, that also could make sense if they're being filmed, but like if they're trying to do it live, how does it work to where you're helping? Okay, one student that's at home right now doing virtual school doesn't have a good connection, so I have to slow down the class, or you know what I mean? There's like a lot of complications with that
Right.
option as well.
Wow. But that's what I'm saying. There's so many different things that can pop out of this. And because this is the first school semester that is actually starting like this, because I know that, it happened during the spring and whatnot, but starting out like this, they're not going to be prepared.
But I mean, were trying to they were trying to reopen schools virtually for the end of the last school year, but
Right.
they couldn't. They didn't have enough resources. They didn't have enough time, so they just canceled the school year. So I feel
Here.
like yeah, I feel like they should have had enough time to I feel like they should have had enough time to make a plan, some sort of plan for the next school year,
Right.
but they
But
haven't.
they didn't think it was gonna last this long. I'm sure that's what it was. Because I remember hearing, oh, by August, by August, by August, all these deadlines by August. So I guess we just got to see how it goes. There's gonna be a lot of issues, but we got to see how it goes.
Yeah, and I'm interested to hear what the audience had to say. What's your opinions? I know there's a lot of different opinions on there. Some people like it, some people hate it.
Right. So you guys can let us know, comment on this issue here on this episode. We are on the social media platforms. You can find us on Twitter at Sovereign State 2, Facebook, Sovereign State Podcast, Instagram, Sovereign State Podcast. And yeah, let us know what you guys think. We're going to call it a wrap. This is it for us.
Yeah. Thank you for tuning in.
We appreciate you guys tuning in. And please tune in again next week for the next episode.
Like, subscribe, and share.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Thank you for listening to The Sovereign State. Tune in next time for another great episode.